90 minutes ago, South Africa's World Cup was basically over. One loss already on the board, falling behind inside the first 6 minutes, getting outplayed, looking sluggish, looking like a team that had run out of belief. Bafana were staring straight at the exit door. And then, with the clock ticking down and the whole tournament slipping away, one man stepped up to a penalty spot in Atlanta and refused to let his country go home early. Teboho Mokoena, one kick, one moment, and suddenly a dead campaign had a pulse again. So tonight we're breaking down Czechia 1, South Africa 1. We're breaking down how South Africa came back from the brink, why Czechia will be absolutely sick to their stomach about this result, and the one player whose misses might just cost his team this entire World Cup. Let me give you the stakes first, because this game meant everything to both of these teams. Both Czechia and South Africa walked into Atlanta Stadium having already lost their opening match. Both of them were on 0 points in Group A. And in a World Cup group, when you've already dropped your first game, the second one becomes survival. Lose this, and you're all but eliminated before your final fixture even kicks off. South Africa had lost to Mexico. Czechia had lost to South Korea. So this wasn't just a game. This was a knockout match disguised as a group stage fixture. And you could feel that desperation in how both teams played. And it was Czechia who came flying out of the blocks. Within the first minute, they had a glorious chance. Patrik Schick, the Bayer Leverkusen striker, the man this entire Czech team is built around, got himself a free header after just 50 seconds and miscued it wide. Remember that miss, because it becomes a theme. But Czechia kept coming, and on 6 minutes they got their reward, and it came from a route that is becoming their signature at this tournament, a throw-in. Adam Hlozek showed clever movement off a long throw, burst through down the right, and cut it back. Alexander Soyka met it first time with a superb pass, and Michal Sadalek arrived to drill a low left-footed finish into the net. 1-0 Czechia. And here's a stat that tells you who this Czech team really is. 3 goals have been scored from throw-ins at this entire World Cup, and Czechia have scored 2 of them. That is not an accident. That is a coached, deliberate, rehearsed weapon. They are turning dead ball situations into goals, while everyone else treats a throw-in like nothing. So South Africa are behind early again, and for a long stretch of this match, they looked exactly like a team low on confidence, sluggish, lacking creativity. Hugo Broos had made a decision before the game, dropping Lyle Foster and reverting to a back four, and for the first 45 minutes it just wasn't clicking. They couldn't test the Czech goalkeeper. Their best moment of the half came from a Czech mistake when the keeper Kovar spilled a cross and Thapelo Masiko's effort got blocked. That was it. That was their highlight. And I want to ask you right now, because this is the moment that defines the match. At halftime, 1-0 down, having created almost nothing, did you think this South Africa team had a comeback in them? Be honest in the comments. Because I'll tell you, watching it live, it did not look like it. But this is where the game turned, and it turned on 2 things. First, Czechia's wastefulness. And second, Hugo Broos finally getting his changes right. Let's talk about Czechia first, because they should have killed this game stone dead. Right after the break, Vladimir Darida was found completely unmarked in the box, and a heavy touch let Im Okan recover and snuff it out. Moments later, Schick again, a free header from a corner, and he nodded it straight at the keeper, Ronwin Williams. This is the part that should haunt Czechia. Schick came into this tournament as their main man, and he has not opened his account yet. And on this night, he spurned 2 presentable chances that would have put the game completely out of reach. When you are a goal up and you keep missing chances to make it 2, you are inviting the other team to punish you, and South Africa did. Because at halftime, Broos made the move that changed the game. He threw on Relebohile Mofokeng, an extra attacker, and the whole shape of South Africa shifted. Suddenly there was urgency. Suddenly there was width and intent. South Africa ended this match with 61% of the ball and 17 shots to Czechia's 14, and they actually finished with the higher expected goals. Read that again. The team that was dead at halftime ended up creating the better chances by the end. That is a coaching masterclass in the second half, turning a flat, beaten side into the team pushing for a winner. Oswin Apollos was electric off the dribble. They started taking the game to Czechia instead of waiting for something to happen. And then came the moment. 9 minutes from time, a Czech defender, Pavel Solk, handled the ball inside his own box. It was inadvertent, it was unlucky, but it was clear, and the penalty was given. Up stepped Teboho Mokoena, and let me paint the weight of this for you. This is a man who had already been booked earlier in the game, a silly yellow card that means he is now suspended for South Africa's crucial final group match against South Korea. So he is walking up to this spot knowing he won't even play the next one, knowing his nation's tournament is hanging on this single kick, and he buries it. 1-1. Bafana are level. The bench erupts. A campaign that was finished has been resurrected. So what did we actually learn tonight? For South Africa, the lesson is belief and bravery from the bench. Broos was bold, he changed the game at halftime, and his players responded with the kind of second-half performance that can carry a team. They earned this point. The expected goals back it up, they did not steal it. But here is the hard truth for South Africa, and I have to be honest with you. They lost their influential midfielder Mokoena to suspension for the very next game. The man who just saved them is now unavailable when they need him most. And for 80 minutes they were poor. They cannot start games this passively against better teams and expect to come back every time. The character is there. The consistency is not yet. For Czechia, this one is going to sting for a long time. This is now back-to-back games where they have surrendered a lead in Group A. They are doing the hard part, scoring, creating, controlling, and then throwing it away through wastefulness and a soft moment at the back. And it comes down to one player more than any other. If Patrik Schick takes even one of those chances, Czechia win this game and they are in a commanding position in the group. Instead, he is still searching for his first goal, and his misses have left his team clinging on. So I have to ask you, the Czech fans watching this, is Patrik Schick the problem, or is he just one good finish away from turning this whole tournament around? Tell me. Because a striker that wasteful at a World Cup is playing with fire. This match also made a bit of history off the pitch, and it deserves a mention. The game was officiated by an all-female crew led by Tori Penso, only the second time that has ever happened at a men's World Cup. Whatever your take on the football, that's a moment worth acknowledging. So I want to hear from you. Was this a great escape from South Africa or a collapse from Czechia, or both? Should Hugo Broos have started more aggressively instead of needing to chase the game? And do you think South Africa can survive that final group match without their suspended hero Mokoena? Drop it all in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And here is my prediction. I think this single point might end up being the most valuable result of South Africa's entire tournament. I think it keeps them alive into the final match day with a chance, and I think Czechia, for all their quality, are going to look back at Patrik Schick's misses tonight as the moment their World Cup quietly slipped away. Write it down. Come back and tell me if I was right. Because that is football. One team does everything right for 80 minutes and walks away with nothing to show for it. The other team is on the canvas, counted out, finished, and finds a way to get back to its feet in the final breaths. Tonight in Atlanta, South Africa had no business getting a point, and they got one anyway. That is the spirit that keeps a World Cup dream alive. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for a full breakdown after every single World Cup match, and I'll see you after the next one. Take care.